The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us. For years, we sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know,
engaging these
honestly,
vast
what you're talking
reparation
about
schemes.
right now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea. And by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
So I pray and hope that 2026 will be the year that we make Iran great again.
This is my video update on this Tuesday afternoon, January the 6th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with a shakeup in Kiev. We have another government shakeup that is happening at Green Goblin HQ. And we have the big appointment, most likely the big appointment, because I don't believe this is yet confirmed, but it looks like Dennis Shmyhal, my precious Shmyhal, will be moving to the energy ministry. He was the prime minister, then he went to the defense ministry, and now it looks like he will be taking over at the energy ministry, which is embroiled in the 100 million golden toilet energy scandal. And we also have an appointment in Ukraine with the Zelensky government, an important appointment as economic advisor. We will see Canada's FREELAND, economic advisor to Zelensky. Why am I not surprised? I don't think anyone is surprised with this appointment. FREELAND going to Ukraine to become an economic advisor. An interesting appointment for the Zelensky regime, but makes sense. Absolutely makes sense to have FREELAND as your economic advisor. She did a bang-up job for Canada, so I imagine she's going to do a bang-up job for Zelensky. I wonder if she is going to go to Ukraine and at least spend some of her time living in Ukraine, or if she's going to work remotely. Work remotely, right? Right. I am not shocked at all with this appointment. So, we turn to Venezuela, where we had some heavy gunfire taking place near the presidential palace in Caracas. The reports are that there might have been, according to the Associated Press, there might have been some sort of a coup attempt directed at Delcy Rodriguez, the newly appointed president of Caracas, as Maduro has been kidnapped and is in New York City. He had his first day in a New York City court, but Rodriguez, who publicly is supporting Maduro, and she has voiced her opposition against the United States and Trump's imperialism. She might have undergone a coup attempt. This is according to various Western media outlets. There did appear to be some gunfire or something going on at the presidential palace or close to the presidential palace in Caracas. So that's a situation that we will be monitoring. Trump, he is, according to Politico, he is putting the squeeze on Rodriguez. The media outlet claims, according to their sources, that the Trump administration, the Trump-Rubio dynamic duo, believes that they'll be able to whip, that is the words that they're using, whip Delcy Rodriguez into taking several pro-U.S. Steps. And then once she approves these pro-U.S. steps, they will hold elections, and then they will be rid of Delcy Rodriguez. They will dispose of her. Once again, the words that are being used in this Politico article. One person close to the Trump administration told Politico that Rodriguez was on a short leash, adding that the Trump team was confident they can whip her in whatever direction they want before they dispose of her and move on. That is a direct quote according to the source of Politico. So they were, according to the New York Times, which I reported on yesterday, the New York Times, their sources claimed that the Trump administration was impressed with Rodriguez. Intermediaries of Rodriguez were in communication with the Trump administration. This is all according to the New York Times. And now Politico is saying that that with Rodriguez as president, the Trump administration believes that they can get her to approve many pro-U.S. Policies, the oil and the resources and all of that stuff. And then once she does all of these things, then they'll have elections and dispose of her. This is how they're seeing the transition unfold. I guess this is their rough transition outline, their rough transition plan for Venezuela. Doesn't seem like it has been well thought out, but Rodriguez, she is defiant. At least those are the public statements. She has issued a statement saying that she would like to work with the Trump administration, would like to cooperate with the Trump administration, but she has also put out statements against U.S. imperialism and statements that go against U.S. President Trump. Actually, she has also ordered a nationwide mobilization, declaring a state of emergency to counter what she calls, and I quote, an imperialist attack. So you have that going on as well. You have a very foggy picture in and around, cloudy picture in and around the Venezuelan administration of Delcy Rodriguez. Her brother as well, I believe it's Jorge Rodriguez, her brother as well, is part of this new government. He was part of the Maduro government, but he's also a very powerful person in Venezuela with his sister Delcy Rodriguez. So not a very clear picture out of Caracas, to be quite honest. We're still not sure what exactly is going on. I wonder if the Trump administration understands what's going on. It doesn't seem like it. The latest reports are that Marco Rubio does not want to be the Venezuelan viceroy, the Czar of Venezuela. It looks like he's too busy, according to the Washington Post, and the running of Venezuela will go to Stephen Miller, an odd choice, I guess, for the running of Venezuela. So Stephen Miller is going to be given the role of overseeing post-Maduro operations in Venezuela. Miller is going to be the viceroy, the Venezuelan czar, Stephen Miller. who is he's the assistant chief of staff, isn't he? Under Susie Wiles. I believe that's his post right now with the Trump administration. So Maduro had his first day in court. He appeared in court without handcuffs. And he was also in court. His wife was also in court as well. And Maduro pleaded not guilty to whatever charges the United States is bringing against him, the possession of a machine gun and the narcotics charges. He said that I am the president of Venezuela, and I consider myself a prisoner of war. I was captured in my home in Caracas. I am innocent. I am a decent person. I am the president. That is a direct quote from Maduro. He has the former attorney of Assange representing him. U.S. Attorney Barry Pollock, who defended Julian Assange, is set to represent Maduro in court. And, there's a chance that Maduro could win, I guess. There is a chance. You have a good representation, it seems. And the charges brought against him, the gun possession charge and the narcotics charge. By the way, the narcotics charge, this whole narcotics cartel thing, that's crumbling. That is crumbling because you actually have, you have the New York Times putting out an article with the title, Justice Department drops claim that Venezuela's Cartel de los Soles is an actual group. The Justice Department has quietly dropped its claim that Nicolas Maduro led a real drug cartel called Cartel de los Soles, backing away from a central assertion promoted by the Trump administration. A revised indictment now says the term refers not to an organization, but to a culture of corruption and patronage tied to drug money within Venezuela's military and government. The original claim, echoed by the Treasury and State Department and by Marco Rubio, had treated the phrase as a formal cartel. While prosecutors still accuse Maduro of drug trafficking, they no longer describe him as leading an actual cartel. So things have changed now, right? The whole narrative about a drug cartel, the Justice Department is pulling that back. They're walking that back. No such thing as Cartel de los Soles or whatever they came up with, right? So that's an update with Maduro, the Maduro trial. I believe I read it's going to last for a while, the trial, at least up to 2027. It's going to take a full year for this entire trial to unfold. So the BBC, I haven't been able to confirm this. I cannot confirm this, but this does look legit. The BBC was given their script as to how to deal with the Maduro news. And they were actually given guidelines, their journalists. When speaking about Maduro, the BBC, or can I go this way? The BBC was told, the journalists were told not to use the word kidnapped. Avoid using kidnapped. Captured. Please attribute this to the U.S. description of the operation. Example, the U.S. said Maduro was captured during the operation. Seized. Acceptable for use in our own reporting where appropriate. Avoid using kidnapped. As we discussed in the 9, to ensure clarity and consistency in our reporting, please follow these guidelines when describing the recent events in Venezuela. I cannot confirm if this is true or not, but I do believe this is accurate. I haven't seen the BBC refute these directions when dealing with the Maduro news story. So that's interesting. Very interesting bit of news there. And the U.S. State Department, they put out a meme, I guess you would call this a meme, an image of Trump with the words, "This is our hemisphere. This is our hemisphere, and President Trump will not allow our security to be threatened." So that's what this was all about. This was all about the Western Hemisphere and the Monroe Doctrine, which a lot of analysts are misunderstanding what exactly was the Monroe Doctrine, is the Monroe Doctrine, what it actually states and says and its purpose. Alexander has explained the Monroe Doctrine, and the best explanation of the Monroe Doctrine, what it really was about, what it really said, is given by Robert Barnes. You could go to a video that he did with Viva Frei on Viva Frei's channel, where once again, I believe for like the 100th time, Robert Barnes explains exactly what the Monroe Doctrine was all about, because this is being misinterpreted by even President Trump. But anyway, the narrative now is the Monroe Doctrine and our hemisphere and all of that stuff. Forget about Cartel de los Soles. Forget about everything, all of the stuff we were told, right? When it came to Maduro, Hamas, Hezbollah, narcotics, all of these things. Fentanyl, remember that? Oh, fentanyl. Maduro and fentanyl. That's why we have to go after him. Everything has shifted, and it's now about the hemisphere, the Monroe Doctrine and the Western Hemisphere. That's what this was all about. Even though Trump says it's about the oil and peace on earth. He said yesterday it's about the oil and peace on earth. Okay, it's always changing. What's Greenland going to be about? What is Greenland going to be about? Is that about hemisphere? That's why they're going with the hemisphere thing. I'm getting it now. I got it. I understand now. So they've shifted to the hemisphere. Yesterday it was about the oil, or 2 days ago it was about the oil. A couple of weeks ago it was about narco-terrorism and the cartel. Before that it was about fentanyl. Anyway, now we've shifted to this is about the hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, and the Monroe Doctrine. You know why? Because they gotta set up Greenland. They're setting up Greenland. So that's why they're shifting Venezuela to the hemisphere narrative, our hemisphere. And that's why they're pumping this out there. Our hemisphere. It was all about our hemisphere. They're putting out the memes and the images. I get it. I think I'm starting to understand where this is going. Politico has an article with the very simple title, Is Greenland Next? Is Greenland next? Donald Tusk is cautioning Europe. The Prime Minister of Poland, he posted on X, no one will take seriously a weak and divided Europe, neither enemy nor ally. It is already clear now. We must finally believe in our own strength. We must continue to arm ourselves. We must stay united like never before. One for all and all for one. Otherwise, we are finished. Like the Three Musketeers. One for all and all for one. Tusk, Ursula, Callas, Macron, all for one for all and all for one. Superheroes, the Avengers. Donald Tusk. No one's going to take us seriously. No one takes you guys seriously. The United States doesn't take you seriously. That's why you have this whole Greenland thing, is because the United States doesn't take you seriously, because Trump doesn't take you seriously. But you notice in his post, he puts in there, we have to arm ourselves. This is the theater of all of this. The theater of we have to now arm ourselves because of everything that's happening. We got Russia to the east. We got the United States to the west. We have to build up our military. Another reason to spend on the MIC and for the European Union to build up the military. The end goal is to try and build up the EU's military so that they can take on Russia. So you can get a smash with Russia. That's the end goal of all of this. So now you have two excuses that the EU leaders can relay to their citizens to install fear into their citizens, right? You have Putin in the east looking to invade Europe, right? He's coming from the east, and now you have Trump coming from the west, and Trump really is coming from the west, right? And he's going to take Greenland, and that's another reason why Europe needs to build up their military, and that's another reason why EU citizens need to give up more money, or to be taxed more, or to to pay more money into the EU funds, let's say, into the EU pot, the slush funds, because you got to build up the military. Citizens need to suffer economically, sacrifice, because you got to build up the military to deal with all of these threats. Oh boy! So the foreign minister of Germany, Mr. Wonderful, he said in a statement that Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Germany supports Denmark, and they support Greenland as a part of Denmark. Following U.S. President Donald Trump's renewed push to annex Greenland, Germany's foreign minister reiterated that the territory will, in principle, also be defended as a NATO member state. You got that? You understand what what the foreign minister of Germany is saying? Interesting, very interesting statement. So because Greenland, his point is that Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and Denmark is a part of NATO. Therefore, in principle, that's a direct quote, in principle, Greenland will be defended as a NATO member state, in principle. Which, if you decode what he's saying, if you break down what he's saying, Greenland will be defended by NATO, which is the United States. So Greenland will be defended by the United States from the United States. Greenland will be defended by the United States from the United States. Okay. U.S., you have to protect Greenland against the U.S.? Is that how that works? I think that's how that works. You have this post from Simon Holberg, which many people are talking about. He has a solution for the Greenland problem, for the Greenland issue. His solution is, and I am reading his post on X, as a Danish person, I think Denmark should sell Greenland. U.S. can infuse cash into the development of Greenland that Denmark has no standing chance of matching. It's better for the Greenlandic people. It's likely that the U.S. will take it by force. Thus, negotiating a good deal now will keep the good standing between U.S. and Denmark, which Denmark crucially needs. Denmark and the EU could then use that money to fund the Ukraine war instead of picking on EU taxpayers. That would be appropriate. What an interesting solution. It might actually come to pass. That might actually come to pass, right? I can see it. I can see Frederickson saying, you know what? We need to keep the U.S. as our most trusted, most important ally. Why are we fighting with the U.S.? At the end of the day, the United States can pour more money into Greenland, can take better care of Greenland and the people of Greenland. So let's work out a deal where the United States buys Greenland for, say, 50 billion or 100 billion. What do you want, Zelensky? Better make it 200 billion. Okay, United States purchase Greenland for 200 billion. Trump can go to the American people and say, okay, we're going to purchase Greenland for 200 billion. The American people might say, okay, 200 billion sounds like a good deal. We get all of that territory for 200 billion. Okay. And then the EU takes that 200 billion, or Denmark takes that 200 billion, and it gives it to Ukraine. I can see it. I can see it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can see it. All right. What do you guys think? Interesting proposal. Very interesting proposal. What else? Iran. Let's shift gears and talk about Iran. India has urged its citizens not to travel to Iran. It looks like after Greenland, we're going to then get Iran. Or are we going to get Greenland and Iran going off at the same time? That's possible as well. But a travel warning issued to the citizens of India. Do not go to Iran. What does Modi know? What has Modi been told? Netanyahu, according to various reports, has told Putin to pass a calming message to Iran, saying Israel does not intend to attack. The message was delivered recently, including through phone calls amid rising tensions. We've been here before. Didn't we get the same message to Putin right before the attacks against Iran? I believe Netanyahu told Putin, the same exact message to pass along to Iran. We don't seek conflict. We don't seek war. And then a couple of weeks later, we got the 12-day war. So it looks like things are repeating. And if you needed a sign that Iran is coming up next, how about a Make Iran Great Again hat? As worn by Lindsey Graham, as he was on Fox News, he took out his Make Iran Great Again hat. Lindsey Graham is very excited. I've never seen Lindsey Graham this happy or this excited ever in his entire political career. Not even with Iraq, not even with Syria, not even with Maidan, 2014. Lindsey Graham is probably the happiest person on earth because we're getting all kinds of regime changes and coups and wars and all kinds of chaos. He is super duper happy. He broke out during a Fox News interview his Make Iran Great Again hat. And we have a photo with Lindsey Graham and US President Trump, both of them holding, or at least Trump in this photo, is holding a Make Iran Great Again hat. It's actually signed by Trump. Lindsey Graham and Trump posed together with a Make Iran Great Again hat signed by Trump. Oh boy. Oh boy. So let's get into some clown world territory, I guess. We'll do a quick clown world for today. A court in France, they have ruled that 10 people are convicted for cyberbullying Brigitte Macron. 10 people convicted for cyberbullying Macron. This has to do with the whole man issue. And I believe that one of the people is going to actually do 8 months in prison. I think I read that. One of the people is going to actually spend time in prison. One defendant was sentenced to 6 months in prison. 8 others were given suspended sentences between 2 and 8 months, according to CBS. They will all have to attend cyberbullying awareness training. Brigitte said she went forward with the legal action to set an example in the fight against harassment. You know what this sets up? This sets up Candace Owens for France to go after Candace Owens. They'll probably go after Candace Owens in France first, and then they're going to see how they proceed with the case that they have against her in the United States. That would be my guess. That's what this is all setting up. But it's also a terrifying precedent, huh? Cyberbullying now, and in France, you can go to prison for cyberbullying. I guess a precedent is set there as well. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on X. We're on Telegram and on Rumble. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, or you can come to Cyprus and pick up some shoes. I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.